Okay. The other day, somebody messaged me to check out this new documentary on the manosphere because, as you know, I have previously spoken about the red pill and people associated to what people call the red pill movement. And I discovered this person called HS Tikky Tokky. I've never heard of him before. And I found him extremely interesting because of how he behaves in the documentary, which then led me to the Piers Morgan interview. And I'm just going to go through it with you today because I just think it's hilarious. And it's interesting to see his behaviour dynamics when it comes to being interviewed and on camera. So let's go.
I'm here.
Alright, we're switching.
Yeah.
3.
Can you hear me, Harrison?
Yeah, I can hear you, but my
All
mic
right.
is all.
No, you sound all right just now,
We don't need to hear this part.
Harrison.
So.
Began. I've had many
But where's
memorable
Piers?
clashes with its
It'll
man Andrew
just
Tate,
you'll hear. Can you hear him?
blurred line, being celebrating men but also hating women. Also spoken and written a lot about how the manosphere influencers have filled a very real vacuum of male role models. They've given many young men an outlet for their frustrations about a culture.
Harrison.
It began. I've had many
But where's
memorable
Piers?
clashes.
I'm going back because when he questions where Piers Morgan is, this is the correct behaviour, because if you're asking to interview somebody face to face, it's only justified that the other person appears also. So instinctively he's switched on and he wants Piers present, which is obviously just is it normalised behaviour? Not normal, but he's just switched on basically.
With its
It'll
man Andrew
just
Tate,
you'll hear. Can you hear him?
blurred line.
And as you know, everybody in the red pill deems themselves to be alert, switched on, stay ready, get out the matrix, whatnot. Let's go.
Being celebrating men but also hating women. Also spoken and written a lot about how the manosphere influencers have filled a very real vacuum of male role models. They've given many young men an outlet for their frustrations about a culture which they think talks them down and blames them for everything, even as they've become poorer, lonelier, dumber by every available measure. In my view, the likes of Andrew Tate have not always wielded their huge influence responsibly. I've told him that to his face multiple times.
This is what I don't understand about Piers Morgan. He's talking about Andrew Tate and now you've got this guy coming up. But the thing is, if you can analyse their behaviour and their mindset and how they deal with life under pressure, remain contained, because for the average person being interviewed on a wide scale like this, it comes with a lot of pressure. So for his behaviour is impeccable. And in terms of red pill, Andrew Tate and these people, I'm not sure why they only nitpick at the negative in the messages that they carry. There's a lot of positivity you can extract from how they are. But let's go.
Yeah.
Coming to you now,
Ignoring
Harrison.
the real problems they've exploited. Louis Theroux's new documentary, Inside the Manosphere, on Netflix, puts a different spin on things. Many believe it's a cultural watershed. Instead of the brainstorming hubris and bullish ambition we've come to expect, the stars of the show are depicted as shallow, insincere money grabbers whose only real motivation seems to be social media clout. There's no doubt that many young men find all these people highly entertaining. That's Harrison Sullivan, better known as HS Tikky Tokky, who joins me now.
Hello, Piers.
What do I call you? Do I call you Harrison? Do I call you HS? Do I call you Tikky Tokky? What do I call you?
You can call me anything, whatever you'd like. Harrison, HS, whatever you feel more comfortable with, Piers.
Let me call you Harrison, because your mother calls you Harrison, right?
So he doesn't care what Piers calls him, and Piers Morgan has chose to call him by his mother's name, which I think from Piers is just, not necessary. He could have just called him HS, but he's just being extra as usual. But from the beginning now, he's letting you know that he doesn't care what other people call him.
Yes.
And this is a very common dynamic amongst the red pill movement, because it's about being unfazed and resilient to external environments, factors and people.
So look, I'll be honest, I didn't know who you were until about 2 weeks ago. when I was reading
Piers,
it through.
sorry, I'd really like to see your beautiful face while I'm talking to you. I can't see you.
Okay.
Don't worry,
I'll
try and
see
fix
your
it.
face, so we're good. We'll try and fix it so you can also see mine.
Harrison, can you hear me? You should be able to see Piers.
I mean, I can see a picture of him, but not his. I can see a picture of him, but not him
That
live.
will face Piers when we cut the feed to live.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, coming back to you now.
Cool.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, and I can see you. I can't hear you now, bro. This is really amateur. I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now or not?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's just pick it up. I'm just curious why you did the show. Did you not know Louis Theroux? Did you think it would be something else? Are you pleased with the way you came over?
So I had no idea who Louis Theroux was. The morning that he was coming round, I had some of my team come to me and go, "Oh, do you realize what this is? Do you realize who he is?" I wasn't asked, and I'm still not bothered about it. You know, some people might think.
That's it again. He's not bothered about it, and this is the same pattern you can see amongst the Red Pill movement, and he's clearly displaying that.
It was a mistake going on. Me, I thought it was a very, very fun experience.
And when I was watching the Netflix show, I was just curious what you want that influence to be. Right? Because your mother's in the show, and we'll come to quite an amusing clip where she talks about me, actually. She doesn't want you to do this.
I don't know why he's getting at his mum again, and I don't see why people put the family in the documentary. I thought that was a bit silly, but oh well.
This interview, I think, was the bottom line. So you're defying your mother again, and we'll come to that. But your mother's, you know, I was watching her, and I was watching you interact with them. I actually knew your father a bit back in the 90s. Victor Abugu, who was an England rugby player. Met him a few times.
You can actually see, yeah, when he's mentioning his mother and father, although he isn't responding too much, his body language is still changing. He's still giving a grin. So he is reacting to Piers speaking on his mom and his dad. As much as he isn't acknowledging it or responding, we got a grin, we got him nodding his head. So he's taking that in, and Piers knows what he's doing.
Friends,
Him, and we can come to that as well. You know, and I'm just curious how somebody whose mum is like that, whose dad is was like he was when I knew him, how somebody ends up thinking that the key to life, that the joy of life, the satisfaction of life, comes from rage baiting people in their DMs, rather than something a little bit more. You know, I hesitate to use words where your fan base will go, "Oh, shut up, granddad, you don't get it." But is there not more to life to be achieved than rage baiting?
I do like his containment in Piers talking about his mom and dad. He hasn't really retaliated. You can see he's reacted physically with his body language, but he's still remained contained despite somebody talking about his mom and dad. Even though it isn't in a negative way, Piers knows exactly what he's doing. He does this all the time.
Morons in their DMs.
Okay, well, I'm glad you called them morons, because that is the idiots that I've attracted from the mainstream coverage with the documentary. But there's a lot more to life. For me, the main thing in life is making money, being healthy, and enjoying that money with my family and having great experiences.
So there's a positive you can take from his movement: spending time with family, making money, and being free and having that lifestyle. Nobody seems to pick up on these messages that people of this influence deliver.
The experiences that I have now, since I've come back for Mother's Day, whatever, with my mum, in the last, 5-6 years since I've been on social media, have been great. And they're the things that I'll be looking back on when I'm 60, 70 years old. You know, the nice dinners, the nice weather, just the nice times that I've shared. So I don't think the beauty of life is rage baiting retards in my comments. But, when I'm sat there and
what do you actually want your younger male followers to end up being like? It's a genuine question. Because in the Netflix show, what I saw was a guy who says, look, on the one hand, if I had a daughter who did OnlyFans, I'd disown her. And yet you are directly involved in promoting a load of women who are on OnlyFans, right?
You're a smart man, right? You wouldn't be in this position if you weren't a smart man. You can answer that question yourself. You know exactly why I'm promoting girls. I'm not even actively promoting any right now, but you know exactly why I'm doing it.
To
you don't
make
need
money.
to ask me that question.
To
There
make
you go.
money.
You answer. So why are you asking a question you already know?
No, I'm not.
It's a very, very easy
You're
answer.
missing my point, Harrison. I'm not disputing that you are making money, or you're perfectly entitled to. I'm just curious why you would want to send a message to young men you're trying to be influential over, to the extent where you want them to part with money.
Regarding the OnlyFans, I genuinely believe that in life you have karma for everything that you do. And I'm not going to give my opinion solely on OnlyFans, because actually I will. I just think people are entitled to live as they please. So if people want to do OnlyFans, then so be it. But he makes money from OnlyFans. But if his daughter did OnlyFans, he'd disown her. So I can I can understand his point. So basically, he's interested in making money, which is very popular for this type of movement. And the other point he has, he wouldn't like his daughter to be involved in this. And obviously, those two scenarios are two completely different positions. One is having somebody doing OnlyFans, and two is having someone making money from OnlyFans. They're two different positions on the food chain. So the question might be, would you like your daughter in your position making money from OnlyFans? That's a different question. So it's not hypocrisy in full circle. Do you get it? He's not doing it right.
Money to.
And I actually find people today get things mixed up. They get emotionally entangled in the truth, where to the point where they can't take the truth from the story. And it's very common for people of this movement, like this Tikky Tokky guy. It's very logical. There's no emotion. They remove emotion from the behaviors, because in order to succeed, it's important to have emotional containment. Otherwise, you're going to get constantly caught up, like people like this on the internet. People always getting entangled in other people's business, talking rubbish, even though we're told, well, I was raised not to get involved in gossip, don't talk. But the internet's becoming kind of like that, where people just jump to conclusions and not see the full picture, and they struggle to see the full picture once they're emotionally invested in the scenario.
Be like you. And on the one hand, your message is OnlyFans is awful. These girls that do it are awful. But on the other hand, you're making money.
So that's okay if he thinks OnlyFans is awful and whatnot, but he's making money from it, so he isn't doing OnlyFans.
Promoting them. It's hypocritical.
Look, I think OnlyFans girls can do what they want, you know. I'm not bothered. It's the same way I think people can be gay if they want. I'm not bothered. When it comes into my family, where I have control over the situation, that's where I'll dictate what happens. So it's a very valid point that I don't want my daughter to be on OnlyFans. I don't want my daughter to be in the red light district in Amsterdam. But if I went to Amsterdam and I was walking down and I saw a Colombian 9 out of 10, would I go in and visit? Well, depends how many drinks I'd had that night. But that doesn't mean I...
As much as these, it's basically the same topic of discussion, but everything talked about is different scenarios. It's like painting everybody with the same brush. It doesn't work like that. We were once raised to believe these statements to be true, like don't judge people by this or don't do certain things. Yet today, people like this Piers guy want to mix it and entangle it, but everybody's like this. This is why I like the Red Pill movement, because it allows individualism and people to be unbothered by external factors.
necessarily agree with it or would like that girl to be my daughter or would raise my...
And when people like this are saying, I don't care, I'm not bothered, it isn't that they don't care overall. They're just unbothered by other people's lives. No, they're not interested. And I completely get it. Why should you be interested in other people's lives? What people choose to do as adults is their responsibility, and they've got to be accountable for it. So putting your energy into other people's business is going to be time consuming and consume your goals. So this is why I do like the HS Tikky Tokky. Don't justify his name, not rating that, but his mindset is good.
my daughter like that makes perfect sense.
And if you had a son who turned out to be gay, you would disown him, you said.
No, my actual life ambition, right, genuinely since young, is to grow up, make money, retire my mum, meet a nice girl from a good family, then have a gay child who fucks other guys. That's what I want. So I genuinely want that. I also want him to go out on the weekend and put makeup on and,
Now, I don't have anything against gays myself. I don't like how it's being pushed into the system amongst the younger generation. I do believe everyone is free to pick who they want to be in life, whether that's gay, whatever they want to be. So he's basically exerting his values, what he wants in his family. And I think in a world that's against that, I don't see a problem with that. So, but clearly when you do speak like this, you get put into a category of what they call red pill, which I think is ridiculous.
Listen,
no, I
can hear your fan base cheering you on. I know what you're doing. It's the double down, treble down. In fact, I saw some of your...
Even Piers now acknowledging what this guy's doing, because obviously he's aware he's going to clip it up and he's going to monetize it and gain from it. And I think this is what people forget. This is the modern day gossip. So whereas we lived in a generation of face-to-face value where we were told don't get involved in gossip, keep out of people's business, this is the new modern way of getting involved in other people's business. So you have the people on the internet going online, clicking, liking, commenting, rage bait, whatever you want to call it. But the truth is they don't truly know a person, and I don't believe unless you truly know somebody or have a better insight of the character, you shouldn't really have an opinion like that or commenting negativity. So yeah, you've got to get your own opinion, get your own truth, get your own insight. And because we live in such a short-term, short-form mindset, thought process and memory, people are just following like sheep. So this guy obviously is his own man.
Post on social media before you did this interview, I'm going to own everything. I'm going to double down. I'm going to play that game. Fuentes did that a bit with me. And you know what?
I even think that mentality is great. So if you're going through things in your life and people are gossiping, people are talking, which they will, especially if you want success, just keep it moving. And if you want to capitalize on it, why not? That's the ultimate win.
Do you know what, bro? There's not a game.
By the way, I'm not your bro, Harris. Call me Piers. I'll call you.
What you don't want to be my bro?
I don't really want to be your bro, mainly because.
And you do find, people, or him, they are genuinely friendly people. They too have a personality. So it's almost as if now, if you're not part of these agendas, people who choose to be themselves are the people who are hated. So don't always believe what you see on the internet. Just like you was once told, don't believe what you say unless you know yourself.
I have two bros of my own, one of whom was an army colonel and one of whom is an excellent man as well. However, let me just ask you what you said in the documentary. You clearly actually would, by your own admission, disown a son who said they were gay. And yet your mother, you said, hates people that are racist, sexist, homophobic, and so on. Why be so brazenly homophobic if your own mother, who you clearly love and respect and care about, if she's so against that, why would you be so happy to be brazenly homophobic?
I wouldn't say I'm homophobic.
You would disown a child for being gay?
I liked his response there. So after PS said everything he just said, his response, just straight to the point, I wouldn't say I'm homophobic. So it just kills all that nonsense he just said, which was unnecessary, and got straight to the point, which is great. Straight, direct, no nonsense.
That's about as homophobic as it gets.
That's your opinion, and in my opinion, that's not homophobic.
It's a fact.
That's what this is about. That's his opinion. That's his opinion. And it's about being free without losing privileges to have your own opinion. And more every day, people who want to remain as we once were, having opinions, are being villainized and losing privileges in society. Whereas if you want to be gay, you're supported. If you want to be whatever many genders there are, you can be that.
So what homophobia is?
Okay.
There it is again, the unbothered energy of okay, which is a great attitude when it comes to people trying to nitpick.
What do you think homophobia is?
I think homophobia would be severely discriminating against gays. And I think that, you know, maybe going around and bullying them or whatever could be considered homophobic.
You don't think
I don't
disowning
really
your
care
own
what the
child would be
definition is.
bullying them because of their sexuality?
I'm not bullying them.
I haven't seen anything of him bullying gay people. The line statement that he would disown his son if he was gay, that's a preference in how he'd idealise his family scenario, and that's not the same as bullying gay people. And there's nothing wrong with wanting your child not to be gay. It doesn't mean you're against gays. A lot of people from traditional backgrounds or particular cultures, religions, or being raised in certain households aspire to have the same outcome. It doesn't mean that they dislike gays, it just means they'd prefer not to have that type of person in their household, in their family. And it's the same for culture. Certain cultures don't like certain outsiders. It's a preference. It's not to say if it came their way, they'd have a dealing with it. But as he said, he'd disown them, which is a very harsh statement. It's quite brutal. But there's an all or nothing mentality with people who present this type of behaviours in the Red Pill movement. And that's sometimes, well, not even sometimes, if you want to be successful, I'm just fidgeting in my chair. To be successful, there is an element of yes or no to remove the logic and emotion. And also, you have to have a certain standard to achieve that. And that's his standards of getting there. I don't see a problem at all. Actually, I'm going to keep going. There's a lot of people who feel that way, who are afraid to say it. Deep down, they would feel that way too, but they haven't got the courage to speak out like he is. And because he is, the gay community will hate him because Piers Morgan has said he's bullying them, when truth is he hasn't done any such thing. So as much as he's capitalising on it, so is Piers Morgan. This is why they're both in the same business together, because Piers Morgan's trying to capitalise on his moment and so is he. But this guy's the villain, the HS Tikky Tokky. Someone please tell me where that name come from, because it doesn't do him any justice.
I'm not bullying my
By
child.
disowning them?
It's not bullying.
What is it?
Definitely not bullying.
What would you call it? If you disown your own child for being gay, something they couldn't possibly...
So as much as they're saying Piers is saying he's doing rage bait, so is Piers Morgan. He just said it, you disown your own child in a very powerful statement. He knows that's getting clipped up as well. He needs supporters for his thing as well.
I'd call it good parenting. That's what I'd call it. I'd call it good parenting.
Really?
We clearly have different beliefs. I don't care what your belief is. If you grow up,
no,
okay,
we don't actually.
you'll work your whole life.
We both come from the same belief, which is we were brought up by mothers who did not share this view. So actually, we're very similar. It's just you've taken a weird turn where your mother, who hates homophobia, has got a son who actually thinks it's perfectly okay.
This is the thing. As much as you're saying they come from the same belief, you have to understand that every person in the whole world has their own personality. This is why individualism cures a lot of problems in the agendas and society. It's all about being yourself, and he clearly is his own man. And so people in the Red Pill, they support individualism.
So you would disown your own child?
Individuality is not supported in the mainstream at all, or the system, because they can't put you in categories. There's not enough categories to have everyone in their own box. That's why they got to put you all in certain boxes.
Your own son, if they said they were gay. And
would you be happy if you raised your son and your son came out gay? Would you be happy, Piers? Would you be happy, Piers, if you had one child, one son?
I wouldn't care less.
You wouldn't care?
No.
Okay, then that's your beliefs. Me and you have totally different beliefs.
No, but the only
I
thing
know
I'm
that you're
interested
trying
in is
to
why
double
you think
down on
your
this
belief,
point.
Yeah, but Harrison, why do you think your belief does not constitute homophobia?
Piers, we can all have a push and a shove. You might not agree with some of my points. I don't agree with some things that you do and the way that you act.
That's fine.
And I don't need to go into them. But if you want me to, and you want this to turn into something that it doesn't need to be, then we can all have a push and a shove.
I'm genuinely interested in how you felt this Netflix show went and the things that Louis Theroux had you saying on camera. I'm genuinely curious what you think about the way people have responded to them. Honestly, that's all I care about. I'm not here to trap you. I'm not here to put words in your mouth. I'm not here to do any of that kind of thing. I'm very aware that your fan base, whatever happens between you and I, it doesn't matter. You will have owned me, killed me, crushed me, destroyed me. Let's just accept that's a given. Okay? That is how these interviews always go, whether it's Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, whoever.
Do you know what I don't like, Piers? Do you know what I don't like?
In a minute, it'll be the same thing. So I assume. Let me just tell your followers, Harrison at HS Tikky Tokky has owned me, beaten me, defeated me.
Okay, listen, I respect guys that have their own opinions, right? But I don't really respect you trying to come on and say, oh, I'm homophobic and try and really push that point when I wouldn't say I'm homophobic at all.
I understand that, but I'm curious why you don't think disowning a child for being gay is homophobic.
So he's saying he's not homophobic, and Piers is retaliating with the statement that he made to do with his parenting preferences about him not wanting his child to be gay.
What I do with my children is up to...
I don't see how that's homophobic. That's just the parenting preference, and doesn't mean that gay people in the world would be treated a particular way by this person. He's just letting you know, in his household, in his family, he would prefer and not want a gay child.
Me. What I do with my children is up to me.
Of course. Okay? Of course.
And what he does with his children is up to him. And obviously today, it's very difficult to do what you want with your child if they're in the system. That's why so many people are homeschooling and fighting to protect their children from a ever-growing threatening society, and a society that's on the decline, especially in the UK, America.
I don't agree with you going to Epstein's Island and having freak-offs with Ghislaine Maxwell and the rest of them, but I don't need to bring it up because this is about misogyny and everything like this.
Harrison, Harrison.
Okay, I don't agree with that, sir.
Just to be clear,
freak-offs on the island.
Yes, nor do I. And as is
a stated fact. Are you sure?
Do you want to keep doing this? You'll make yourself look very stupid.
Are you sure, Piers?
That I've never been to Jeffrey Epstein's Island. I'm 100%.
It's funny because as much as Piers is acting unbothered, he's actually a touch triggered by his statements here. And the truth is, Piers is trying to villainize this guy when the truth is he's got a point. He's got a point in what he's saying to Piers right now about these Epstein files.
% positive. I never met the man, never went to his island.
He has to reply to that. You can't leave that blank because then he'd obviously open a can of worms for people to start trying to villainize him with his with these files that he comes up in.
I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch. If you've got any supplementary
mentioned a lot of times.
No
mentioned
problem.
A lot of times in there, sir.
I have no problem. You're not. I don't think. If I say this very respectfully, I don't think you're very well informed about things like that, or you wouldn't go there because it's.
Why are you in the files?
Why don't you check the 27 references to me in the files?
Why are you in the files, sir? Very close to these types of people.
Go and check. And all your followers, you can. The great thing about the Epstein files, you can put somebody's name in, and you can.
You like to compare me to Tate and Myron and everyone else. So
Harrison,
because my name is close to them in the manosphere. But if I compare.
Oh, he's made a good point there. So he's referring to Andrew Tate and Myron, these red pill guys in the manosphere. So that's why Piers is obviously referencing them to him. So he's basically hitting back with the exact same scenario, and Piers has to answer because this is so globally out there right now with these Epstein files, and he has to respond. I think so far the HS guy is, what's the word? Professionally antagonizing Piers in a great way. It's profound.
You to Epstein and Maxwell, you have a clear problem with it. I have
no problem.
Sir,
I actually find Piers quite annoying when people are talking and he keeps interrupting like that. He does it on all the shows.
compare me to Myron and all the others in this homophobic, misogynistic, whatever world. I'm comparing you to Epstein then, because you're in his files.
Harrison.
Exactly.
You're making yourself look an even bigger idiot than you did on the Netflix show.
Oh, really? Really? Yes. To people like you, sir, I
think Piers is definitely triggered as much as he's trying to hide it, because he's calling him an idiot now, which I think is inappropriate and disrespectful. And he's handling it very well.
Mind that. You make yourself look like an idiot every single day when your wife is at home posting.
So now, because he's called him an idiot, he's well equipped for the interview and he's called him an idiot back. So now the interview's changed its tone because it's gone from something else to this disrespectful format, which is fine, but Piers started it.
Pictures that you're out and she wants to get used like a toy by a big black man who's cleaning her car.
Oh my God. Piers is triggered, definitely triggered. He's biting his lips. And this is the thing about people who have this brutal mindset. There's no limit to how far they will go. And they will literally do whatever is necessary to accomplish their goals, regardless of who gets hurt along the way, as long as their intentions for them are true on this journey that they're trying to conquer. And conquest is certain.
Why you have a problem with me? Is that why you're pushing this homophobic narrative? Because I'm the big black man that shagged your wife while you are on holiday. Okay? We can all have a push and a shove, sir. Let's go back to talking about the
You can just see it in his face that hit a nerve.
Documentary and less of the homophobia.
Do you know what? Here's what I think about you. I watched the documentary. I think you're a fucking idiot. I think you're a
It's even got him swearing now. So now his emotional container has gone out the window. Piers has really let himself
misogynist, homophobic twerp who got exposed in a global way.
So he's laughing because he's got the reaction. He's got the ultimate reaction, basically. So I think he did the interview exceptionally well. And Piers literally folded.
By Netflix, by Louis Theroux, for what you are. You're a little half-wit. And you'll make your little followers
don't get rattled.
Have a little laugh and everything else. But I don't see any point wasting. There's no point me wasting my time talking to you. Is there?
He really burned Piers Morgan there. He really got him.
What's the point?
Exactly. No, do you know what? Let's chill it down then, because what I just said, there's 50 more things that we can have a stupid back and forth and try and one-up each other.
I don't
just
care
talk
about
to me
your silly
normally.
Insults.
Piers is saying he doesn't care, but clearly by his emotional container, he's clearly displaying a reactive and displaying that he does care. He's obviously bothered by what them statements he's made.
Talk to me normally. Talk to me normally.
He's trying to convince himself he doesn't care, but clearly he does care.
I care about your silly insults.
But what do you mean you don't care? What do you mean you don't care? What I said is facts. I have a picture of it. I can flip it around and show you right now.
I couldn't care less about your silly little insults. It's like a 2-year-old. Why would I care?
A 2-year-old? A 2-year-old? Listen, sir, I don't know why you come on and you talk like you're holier than thou. As soon as you're away,
all right,
who's this? Applications are open.
All right, let's just
that's your ting, bro. That's your girl.
Let's end this.
Cooked.
You know what? I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys.
I have no idea what he's showing, if that really is his wife, but he's clearly got him to actually leave the show. So I think from a body language perspective and composure, the HS guy remained steady and balanced and contained throughout the whole interview. So in terms of behaviour of HS and the red pill people overall, I mean the people who are genuine, because there's a lot of people in the manosphere who are just following, and it's not for everybody. The pursuit that they're trying to conquer can only be achieved by a particular percentage or fraction of people. But from my opinion with this guy, he is true to himself, and hence why he's getting the reaction from Piers. And I did watch the Netflix documentary, and I will get to that shortly, and I'll give you my verdict on that.
It's pointless.
Wow.
to me unless, you know, like, stop pushing this home.
I was trying to skip it, but let's see what he's got to
Adam,
say.
switch in just back. Tell him to come back on and we'll chill it out. Tell him to come back on and we'll chill it out. But it's like, stop pushing this homophobic bullshit. You want to look holier than thou. Like, stop all that. Anyone can have a push and a shove. Tell him to come back on, talk to me respectfully. This is what I wanted him to come in real life, because he wouldn't speak like that to me.
This is the problem we've got now. So you have people who are on mainstream media, they have to behave in a particular fashion, and now you have the internet, which allows people to create their own platforms and they have their own voice, like this guy right here, HS. So that means he's free to say what he wants. And the truth is, the people in the mainstream do feel a particular way about modern day agendas, but they're in a box which, like I said, loses them privilege. We're not in a society that allows you to have your own free mind and your free actions and your free lifestyle without losing privileges in today's society. So if someone like Piers wanted to say something similar or of comparison to somebody who's built their own platform like HS, they would lose privilege, he'd lose his job. There's a lot on the line for people in the mainstream to have their own mind and their own opinion, whereas this guy is free to say what he wants. And that's why, to a lot of people, he's likable, because you can be yourself. He is himself. And I think today, people are not themselves, and it's difficult to be yourself without being a villain. And in order to have an opinion, be yourself, you have to accept that it's going to come at you a particular way. And that's why you need the unfazed, unbothered energy to keep going, because people don't like it when you're out the box, when you seek freedom, when you want to be yourself. And that's what they deem to be breaking the matrix, as they say.
Unless, you know, it was through the camera. Like, talk to me face to face as a man. Bringing up bullshit points. That's crazy. I didn't even want to bring up. I even said to him, don't, just leave me alone. Trying to push this homophobic bullshit.
I think they could have had a better conversation, and Piers, as he does his job, that's what he does. He likes to antagonise people, and he failed on this interview. And I think if you talk to HS, Andrew Tate, I don't know about the Myron geezer, you can get to know them in a better light. It's just that people expose them in a negative light because the mainstream media doesn't want to convince you that it's okay to be yourself. And these people are themselves. They've built their own characters, their own platform, their own lives, so they can be who they truly want to be, which is not an easy task.
I have a gay mate. It's impossible for me to be homophobic.
So now he's off the interview, and he's saying he's got a gay mate, which justifies his point even further, but they don't allow this light space to come through.
I'm also not misogynistic either. I love women. Producers.
A lot of people who are deemed misogynistic, I didn't get the word out, but you know what I'm saying, they all say that they're not that person and they love women. And I think women are entitled to behave as they want to behave, just as are men. And it's down to adults to behave how they aspire to behave. It's not his responsibility to conduct the behaviours of other women, and what they choose to do with their lives is not his business. But if he's trying to make money and they're part of his business, then he's doing his job, and whether they're part of it or not, that's on them. The point is, he's on a mission, and when you're on a mission, you got to weigh it up and scale, know how you're going to scale it.
Oh, they've all run off. The stream is still on. That's the thing. That's why, I think they're in the background. They're going, Piers, calm down, count to 10. He's laughing. They're going, Piers, calm down, count to 10. 1, 2. You did really well, bro. Trust me, you did really well. Okay, it's only his fans that are gonna not rate it. Trust me, just count to 10. Yeah, they can. Yeah, producers, what's going on?
Is finished? Yeah.
Now you're back.
Hello?
So, again, interview's done. Still composed. He remained composed throughout the interview. And for the terms of HS and people who they refer him to, you have to understand the mindset is a great mindset to have in today's world if you want to be successful. And I think that's a huge element that they project into the society and to the followers, to stay focused, stay disciplined, and remain composed. And on that note, that's it. I'm out. And this is my first stream. So, peace out.